Light travels across the universe carrying information. Every photon that reaches Earth has a history, a place of origin, a journey measured in years, centuries, or millennia, and a story encoded in its color and intensity. For astronomers, light is not merely something to be seen. It is something to be read, analyzed, and interpreted. It tells us how hot a star is, how old it might be, what elements burn within its core, and how it may one day end. For most stars, that story is reassuringly familiar. Stars are born from clouds of gas and dust, ignited by gravity and sustained by nuclear fusion. They spend the majority of their lives in a long, stable phase, shining steadily for millions or billions of years. From a human perspective, they are constants, fixed points of order in a universe that otherwise feels immense and unknowable. This predictability is not accidental. It is the foundation of modern astronomy, which is why a single star behaving differently was enough to unsettle an entire field of science. Long before it became famous, the star now known as Tabby's star was simply one of many targets observed by NASA's Kepler Space Telescope. Kepler was not designed to find mysteries. It was designed to find planets. Its method was elegant in its simplicity. Stare at thousands of stars continuously and measure their brightness with extreme precision. When a planet passes in front of its host star, an event known as a transit, it blocks a small fraction of the star's light. That dip repeats regularly, like a clock ticking in orbit. By measuring these dips, astronomers could infer the presence of distant worlds. Kepler revolutionized our understanding of the galaxy. It revealed that planets are common, diverse, and often very different from those in our own solar system. Super-Earths, hot Jupiters, compact multi-planet systems, all emerged from patterns of light so subtle that earlier generations of telescopes could never have detected them. Kepler's success relied on one assumption: stars behave consistently, until one didn't. In the constellation Cygnus, a region rich with stars and interstellar material, Kepler monitored a star cataloged as KIC 846-2852. At first, it attracted no special attention. It was slightly larger and hotter than our Sun, a type of star astronomers know well. It showed no obvious signs of instability, no violent flares, no dramatic variability. Then the data was plotted. Instead of the small, neat dips caused by orbiting planets, this star displayed sudden, dramatic drops in brightness. Some were shallow, others were deep. A few were astonishing. At its most extreme, the star lost over 20% of its light. This was not a subtle effect. If our sun suddenly dimmed by even a few percent, Earth's climate would be dramatically altered. A 20% drop would be catastrophic. Yet here was a star doing exactly that, not once, but repeatedly. And the dips did not repeat on a regular schedule. There was no orbital period, no predictable rhythm, no familiar signature. For astronomers trained to see order in data, this was deeply troubling. The first response was skepticism. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary verification, and the history of astronomy is filled with apparent anomalies that vanished under closer inspection. Instruments malfunction, sensors degrade, data pipelines introduce artifacts. Kepler, despite its sophistication, was not immune to such problems. So the data was checked, then checked again, then checked by independent teams using different methods. The dips remained. Other telescopes confirmed the star's strange behavior. The dimming was real, and it was coming from the star's direction, not from any known foreground object. What made the situation even more perplexing was the shape of the dimming events. Planetary transits produce smooth, symmetrical curves, gradual dimming as the planet moves across the star, followed by a smooth return to normal brightness. Tabby's star did nothing of the sort. Its light curve was jagged, uneven, and asymmetrical. Some dips had sharp edges, as if something massive abruptly entered the line of sight. Others were long and shallow, fading in and out without clear boundaries. It was as if the star were being partially covered by something amorphous, something without a single solid shape. As researchers dug deeper, a new layer of mystery emerged. Historical data from older sky surveys suggested that Tabby's star had been slowly dimming over decades, possibly even a century. This long-term fading was subtle, but if real, it implied that the star was not merely experiencing brief, isolated events. Something was changing on a much larger timescale. This was profoundly unsettling. Stars are not supposed to change that quickly. To understand why this mattered so much, it helps to understand how astronomers think about stellar lifetimes. A star like Tabby's star is expected to remain stable for billions of years. Its energy output should be nearly constant, varying only slightly due to magnetic activity or surface phenomena. Large-scale changes in brightness are typically associated with late stages of stellar evolution, when stars swell into giants or collapse in catastrophic explosions. But Tabby's star showed none of the hallmarks of such transitions. Its temperature remained steady. Its spectrum showed no dramatic shifts. Its energy output, aside from the missing light, appeared normal. It was as if something external were interfering, something between the star and the observer. But what could block such a large fraction of a star's light? The simplest explanation was also one of the first considered: dust. In space, dust is everywhere. Tiny grains of carbon, silicon, and ice drift between stars, absorbing and scattering light. Large clouds of dust can dim stars significantly, especially at certain wavelengths. But this explanation came with problems. Dust usually leaves fingerprints. It reddens starlight in a predictable way, absorbing blue light more efficiently than red. Early observations of Tabby's star did not show the expected level of reddening. Additionally, to cause dips as deep as those observed, the amount of dust required would be enormous, far more than typically seen around mature stars. This did not rule dust out entirely, but it made the explanation uncomfortable. Another possibility involved comets. Comets are icy bodies that release gas and dust as they approach their star. A large swarm of comets, perhaps disturbed by a passing star or gravitational interaction, could conceivably produce irregular dimming. This idea had some appeal. Comets can be numerous, unpredictable, and messy. A disrupted comet family could stretch into long, uneven streams capable of blocking light in complex ways. But again, the scale was troubling. To match the observations, astronomers estimated that hundreds or even thousands of large comets would need to be involved, all passing through the line of sight within a relatively short cosmic time window. Possible, but extreme. As the scientific debate unfolded, Tabby's star began to escape the confines of academic journals. The public noticed. Media outlets picked up the story, drawn by the combination of mystery and uncertainty. When scientists admitted they did not yet have a clear explanation, speculation rushed in to fill the gap. And inevitably, one idea rose above all others in popular imagination. What if the dimming was artificial? The concept was not new. In the 1960s, physicist Freeman Dyson proposed that an advanced civilization might build massive structures around its star to capture energy, a theoretical construct now known as a Dyson sphere. Such a structure, or even a partial one, could block significant amounts of starlight. Most astronomers regarded this as a thought experiment, not a realistic expectation. But Tabby's star forced the question into the open. Not because there was evidence for technology, there wasn't, but because the star's behavior was so unprecedented that familiar explanations felt insufficient. To be clear, scientists did not claim that aliens were responsible, but they acknowledged, carefully and cautiously, that the data was unusual enough to warrant keeping an open mind. That alone was enough to ignite global fascination. Yet amid the excitement, most researchers returned to a more grounded question. Could this star be dying?